When you look at the photo, what do you think? The poster of two black American athletes, Tommie Smith and John Carlos, who won gold and bronze medals in the 200 meters, with their fists in the air and heads bowed, adorned our imaginations and bedroom walls for years. I had never noticed the white Australian athlete in the same frame who won the silver medal. His name was Peter Norman. This athlete passed away last week. That's why the news and the subject have come up again. Let's get to the story. The 200-meter final was run in Mexico City. American black athletes Tommie Smith and John Carlos came first and third, while Australian white Peter Norman came second. While they were waiting for the medal ceremony, Carlos approached Peter Norman and asked, "Do you believe in human rights?" "Yes, I do." "What about God?" "With all my heart." Thereupon, the two black athletes shared their planned action, and Norman joined without hesitation. "I will support your action. Just tell me what to do." For the first time, the two young men were planning an action that would be considered a great provocation, even a revolution, for those days. They would protest racial discrimination in America and the poverty and second-class citizenship imposed on blacks. But how? Norman came up with the idea. They found a pair of black leather gloves. Tommie wore the right one, John the left one. They went up to the podium barefoot to symbolize poverty, their heads bowed in sorrow, their clenched fists raised in the air. Peter Norman, the white athlete standing in front of them, pinned the badge of the Olympic Project for Human Rights over his heart to show his solidarity. The plan was executed as the American national anthem played. And of course, I remember, the world was in turmoil. America stood up in protest. Even the Olympics were overshadowed, with world newspapers featuring photos of the black athletes with raised fists on their front pages. The American Olympic Committee ended the sports careers of the two black athletes on the spot. The protest had achieved its goal, bringing the situation of the black minority in America to the world's attention. Smith and Carlos sacrificed their athletic careers, and therefore their futures, but went down in world history. They became heroes for hundreds of millions of oppressed blacks worldwide. And what about the white Australian Peter Norman? Tommie Smith says, "Peter was a white man. In those days, there were very few honorable and courageous white people who stood up for the rights of blacks. When Peter returned to Australia, not only did no one acknowledge him, but he was also judged by everyone. His athletic career ended, and he was ostracized from sports circles. We all went through such difficult times due to threats, unemployment, and isolation that our first marriages ended. The Australian government never forgave Norman until his death. But Norman took his revenge to the grave. The 200-meter Australian record he set when he came second in the 1968 Olympic finals still stands, 38 years later. The brotherhood of action that lasted until his death. The brotherhood of action and friendship that began that day between two American and one Australian cursed athletes lasted a lifetime. They corresponded, met, and stayed in touch for 38 years. Until last week, when Peter Norman died of a heart attack in his garden at the age of 64. And now, look again at the right side of the photo. The funeral ceremony held in Melbourne. The coffin of honorable white athlete Peter Norman, carried on the shoulders of Tommie Smith, left, and John Carlos. Like it, and share it so others can read.